I lingered just beyond the doorway of our cozy suburban home in upstate New York, my breath shallow, pulse racing like a drum in my chest. My kids had no idea I was there, ears pressed to the wall. "She's draining us dry," Mark muttered under his breath. "We've given her enough time to let go," Sarah added with a sigh that cut like glass. Jason just chuckled, cold and detached. They were discussing me like an outdated expense report, a liability on their perfect lives. After all, I'd sacrificed my youth, my dreams, my everything for them. In that frozen instant, a quiet fire ignited deep inside. I wouldn't plead or rage. Instead, I slipped away silently, fingers already reaching for my old address book. This wasn't the end, it was the spark. Back then, I wasn't this frail woman with silver hair and joints that protested every step. I was Eleanor Hayes, a determined widow in her 30s, clawing through the wreckage after Tom's sudden heart attack left us adrift. Mark was 15, pushing boundaries like only a teen could. Sarah, 12, with her quiet fears hidden behind books, and Jason, 9, still clinging to my skirt tails. Our savings? Gone in the blink of an eye on hospital bills and a modest funeral. The house payments loomed like storm clouds, but I whispered to myself in the dead of night, they'll rise above this. They'll have more than I did. I juggled 3 gigs to keep us afloat, waitressing mornings at the local diner, bookkeeping afternoons for a small accounting firm, and stocking shelves evenings at the grocery store. Sleep came in snatches, maybe 3 hours if I was lucky, but I painted on a smile for them. Weekend brunches with homemade waffles, bandaging every playground bruise with kisses, cheering at soccer games even when my feet screamed from standing all day. When Mark dreamed of engineering school, tuition was a mountain we couldn't climb. So I pawned my grandmother's pearl necklace, the one heirloom that whispered family history. "Go build your future, son," I said, handing him the check without a word about the sacrifice. He never asked, he just packed his bags. Sarah hit rock bottom in her late 20s, a string of failed relationships, a job loss that shattered her confidence, and whispers of depression she tried to hide. When she begged for help with rent to avoid eviction, I cashed out part of my 401k, ignoring the advisor's warnings about my own golden years. "Family sticks together," I told her, watching her eyes light up with relief. Jason, my restless one, wandered through dead-end jobs and bad decisions, from bar fights to mounting credit card debt. I opened my door every time he knocked, cooked his favorite chili, slipped him cash to tide him over. "You'll find your way," I'd say, even as he crashed on my couch for months that stretched into years. Mothers don't keep score, we just give, hoping the love echoes back someday. But now I was draining them dry, a problem to outsource. Like an old appliance humming too loud in the garage. The weight of that eavesdropped conversation settled in my bones like lead, twisting every memory into something sharper, more painful. How had my boundless giving morphed into their quiet resentment? When did I shift from pillar to parasite in their eyes? The next morning, I sat at the kitchen table, flipping through faded photo albums, birthday cakes with lopsided candles, high school diplomas clutched in triumphant hands, family vacations to the Finger Lakes where laughter once drowned out the worries. They were so vulnerable back then, so dependent on my strength. I traced their young faces, wondering at what point love curdled into convenience. Sarah dropped by that afternoon, armed with brochures for assisted living facilities. "Just exploring options, Mom," she said breezily, as if warehousing me was akin to picking a vacation spot. I forced a nod, my voice steady. "Appreciate it, honey. I'll think it over." Mark phoned later, his tone all business. "This could be good for you. Mom, professional care. Activities. No more isolation. Isolation? The words stung like a slap. Every sacrifice I'd made was intimate. Raw, holding them through nightmares. Scraping by so they could thrive. But to them, it was just logistics now. I didn't fight back. No tears. No accusations. I let the silence build. A dam holding back the flood. That evening, alone in the dim light of my bedroom, I dialed Harold Jenkins, Tom's old colleague turned estate attorney. Harold. It's time to revise things, I said. My voice low but resolute. Are you certain? Eleanor, he asked, concern threading his words. Absolutely, I replied. This wasn't vengeance born of spite, it was self-preservation. A shield against being discarded like yesterday's news. I'd poured my soul into them. But now it was my turn to reclaim what remained. They chose the facility, Sunny Meadows Retirement Home, a bland name for a place that reeked of neglect and faded hopes. Mark drove me there, unloading my single duffel bag with efficient detachment. It's affordable. Mom, what we can swing right now, he said, lingering at the entrance, but not crossing the threshold. The lobby smelled of overcooked vegetables and antiseptic. Walls painted a depressing beige. A harried aide glanced up from her desk. Hayes? Room 112. This way. The corridor echoed with muffled moans and the squeak of wheelchairs. My room was a closet, twin bed with a lumpy mattress. A rickety nightstand. A window overlooking a parking lot. Meals at 6. Meds at 8, the aide barked before vanishing. I sank onto the bed. The quiet pressing in like an unwelcome guest. For a heartbeat. Doubt crept in. Was this truly my fate? Reduced to a number in a forgotten wing? But no, this was reconnaissance. A vantage point to observe their indifference up close. I wasn't here to fade. I was here to gather strength. In those first days, I played the part flawlessly feeble. Disoriented. The archetype they expected. I fumbled with buttons on my blouse. Repeated questions about the schedule. The staff bought it hook, line, and sinker. Their patience thinning to indifference. Requests for extra blankets were met with sighs. Pleas for a phone call dismissed with later. Dear. One night, the isolation hit like a wave. Tears streaming as memories flooded back. No one checked. But I observed them, the director pocketing petty cash. Aides scrolling phones during rounds. A resident left unattended after a spill. I jotted it all in a hidden journal, tucked beneath my pillow. When old Mr. Ellis down the hall slipped in the bathroom. His cries echoed for 10 agonizing minutes before help arrived, with eye rolls and mutters of drama queen. I phoned Harold again, whispering from the communal line. Dig into this place, violations, complaints, everything. He didn't pry, just affirmed. On it. Meanwhile, my granddaughter, Mia, became my lifeline. She visited twice a week, smuggling in fresh muffins and crossword puzzles. You hanging in there? Gran, she'd ask, her young eyes scanning the drab walls. I masked the pain. Just peachy, sweetheart. But her presence reminded me of what true care felt like, no strings, just genuine warmth. It was Mia who stumbled upon the envelope. She'd been tidying my sparse belongings, searching for my reading glasses in an old tote. There it was, tucked in a side pocket, a sealed letter addressed to her in my careful script. Gran. What's this? She asked, holding it like fragile glass. I paused, then nodded. Open it if you want the truth. She did, her face paling as she read, My dear Mia, if this finds you, know you're the light in my fading days. The key enclosed opens box 317 at First National Bank. Inside is for you alone. Keep it secret for now. With all my love, Gran. She peeled off the taped key, eyes wide. What's in there? Go see, I urged. She returned the next day, breathless, clutching papers. A revised will. Bank docs. Lawyer notes. You cut them out years ago. I nodded. After Mark demanded I refinance the house for his investment, Sarah ignored my pleas for company. And Jason vanished when bills piled up. I had to safeguard myself. Mia's jaw dropped. Everything to me? The home. The savings. The beach cottage Grandpa loved. Yes, I whispered. Because you see me. Not what I can give. Tears welled in her eyes. I won't tell a soul. The trust in her voice mended something broken inside me. The routine at Sunny Meadows ground on bland oatmeal. Road activities. Evening meds that dulled the edges. But beneath the numbness, my plan simmered. Late one night. A soft rap at my door, our code. Harold slipped in. Briefcase in hand. All set, transfers complete. Will ironclad. Mia as guardian. I exhaled relief. And the facility? He grimaced. Neglect reports stacking up, med errors. Understaffing. Mia's notes add fuel. He passed me a burner phone. Only us. Signal when ready. As he left. Resolve hardened. They thought me powerless. Soon they'd learn otherwise. 3 days later. I feigned a stroke, gasping. Clutching my arm during breakfast. Chaos erupted. Aides fumbling. Siren wails. Rushed to the ER. Tests confirmed nothing. But in the confusion, Mia whisked me away via a side exit. We drove east to the beach cottage. Waves crashing like applause. For the first time, freedom tasted sweet, untainted by obligation. The facility's alarm bells rang late, hospital mix-up. Frantic calls to my kids. Mark exploded at Harold, where's Mom? Sarah left desperate messages. Jason? A lazy text, Mom okay? Harold delivered the letters. Each a dagger of truth. To Mark, you treated my sacrifices as entitlements, shipping me off without a glance. I've rearranged accordingly, without your input. To Sarah, your silence in that living room meeting sealed it. Convenience over compassion. I've chosen better. To Jason, bailouts weren't enough. You laughed at my expense. Laughter fades when inheritance does. The fallout was a storm. Mark barged into Harold's office. Face thunderous. Scanning the will that named Mia sole heir. This is coercion, he roared. Sarah wept over the phone, Mom. Forgive us. I hung up without a word. Mia and I watched sunsets from the porch. Her hand in mine. They'll hunt us, she said. Let them chase shadows, I replied. Peace, at last, was mine. The will reading was a powder keg. Invitations summoned them to Harold's oak-paneled office. Mark arrived fuming. Sarah tear-streaked. Jason disheveled. Mia entered last. Poised. Documents in tow. Harold intoned, to Mark. Sarah. Jason, nothing. Not from lack of love, but lack of yours. Outrage erupted, accusations of fraud. Threats of lawsuits. Mia laid out photos, facility horrors. Abuse logs. Gran was sound-minded, Harold affirmed. Sliding personal letters. Mark stormed out, Sarah crumpled, Jason sulked. Yet closure demanded more. Mia arranged a lakeside meeting. They filed in. Tense. I emerged from behind a screen. Hello. My dears. Shock rippled, accusations flew. I stood firm. I overheard your dismissal. Watched your abandonment. This isn't spite, it's consequence. To Mark, entitlement blinded you. To Sarah, silence betrayed us. To Jason, vanishing acts end here. Mia at my side. I declared, she earned this through kindness you withheld. They begged. Raged. But I walked out. Head high. Into the sunlight. No more illusions. I'd paid the price of blind love, now they faced theirs. In that freedom, I was whole again.